What's up guys, and welcome to another video to Union Arena. In this video we're gonna take a look at the second Bleach set that is coming out soon, and we're gonna take a look at buffs to already existing decks and new decks that are coming out to some of the support characters from the old colors, while we will save up the new blue color for another video. Alright, we are in the tabletop simulator, and these are all the decks from the first set of the Bleach set, and most of these characters or leaders, no, leaders is one piece, I'm sorry. Most of these characters will get support in the second set. Each color will also get its own new special trigger and new character archetype deck. And we will receive a new color for the Bleach set, which is the blue color in the second set of the Bleach anime box. So let's take a quick look at the existing decks already. First off, we have the purple decks here, the Ichigo, Renji Rush and the Akuya decks. Now the purple color is doing pretty fine and they are near the top meta of the deck, especially the Renji Raid together with the Ichigo, so they don't really need much more support. However, the main issue that they have is to get cards into the sideline so they can use their abilities to KO your opponent's characters. The yellow color is probably the weakest color in the Bleach set. We got the Waha here, the Arsnot and the Bambi. Now the Waha and the Arsnot have their own special trigger and their own archetype, but you can mix all of these characters together. The main issue of these decks is that you can only target a character with 3000 or less battle points with their abilities. And the only reliable way to get minus 1000 battle points to target some of your opponent's 4K characters was the Blood event card here. So these colors heavily needed support in that sense. While the Bambi used to be only like a support card for each of these decks, she will receive her own archetype and her own special trigger. The same thing gonna happen to the Kenpachi. He will also receive his own archetype and special trigger in the second set. While the other green decks, the freezing Toshiro and the Yamamoto here, they're usually revolving around swarming your field, so they needed support in effectively getting some characters out. Okay, let's take a look at the support cards first, and then we talk about the new decks. Starting off with the green color here. A quick summary is that the overall 13 Cold Guard squad, now it says Koti 13 here, but that's just the Japanese name, are getting like 6 support cards. The Toshiro is getting 2 new support cards, and the Kenpachi is getting his new archetype with 4 new support cards. If I didn't miss on any cards. So let's start with the Gote 13 here first. We got some new zero cost character in the form of the Shusei Hisaki here. He will gain 1500 build points if you have 6 or more Gote trait. Gote 13 trait characters on your area, which is pretty strong for a zero cost character. And we got the Ikako zero cost who can mill 1 card. Then next up we got the 2 cost Yumi Chika here. He's probably one of the best support cards to the deck, because if you have a total of 3 or more trade Gote 13 cards on your area, this character will get another energy generation, which is good for your characters like the Yamamoto here or the Unohana. Then we receive another Shunshoi card for energy, double energy generation. However, he has double attack with 2000 battle points, which is kind of weird, but I guess he's okay. We got a new Raid Sergeant card for your Sergeant Komamura. He's a pretty nice card to add to your deck too, because on play he can draw 2 cards. However, at the beginning of your turn, you need to sideline this character. Or place the top card of the character into the outside area, not the whole card. Additionally, he has Impact Decade and he cannot be arrested by your opponent's characters and cannot be returned to the hand. So I think he is a good character to add to either of these decks. Lastly, we have the double energy Shinji here. He's an okay character. He has an on-play ability. He chooses one of the following. When you play him in the front line, you can choose 2 characters on your opponent's front line with 1000 battle points or less, which is pretty unusual, and you can sideline them. Or you can choose up to 1 character on your opponent's front line with 3000 battle points or less and rest it, and then set this character to active. Now he would be a really good character if this second ability would choose a 4K or less, because again, a 3K is like really hard to target in this deck. So out of these cards, I think the Sajin and the Yumi Chika are the best cards to add to the deck. Next up is the Toshiro freezing, and he also needs to get some characters out on the field to activate his ability. We therefore get this Rangiku card here. If there's a Toshiro in your area, play up to 1 green character with 2 energy and 1 AP cost from your hand as rested, so you can activate his ability a little bit easier. And we will also get a new Toshiro card on play if there are 6 or more Gote 13 cards on your area. You may place 1 card from your hand to the outside area, and if you did, you can add 1 Toshiro from the outside area to your hand. which means that you can get your raid cards back with this card pretty effectively. I think both of these cards should be run in the Toshiro deck. They're really great support for him. Lastly, we talk about the Kenpachi, who will receive his own archetype with this special trigger here. You can basically go battle points 3000 or less character on your opponent's front line. If you have a Kenpachi on your area or a Yachiro on your outside area, you can go 5k or less. And then the support cards that he gets is first a new 0 cost of him, Kenpachi Zaraki, standard character. And he will get finally his own raid character, who is pretty similar to this 4 cost character, since this character cannot be affected by battle point reducing effects and he has impact 1. However, he has an additional ability if you raid with him on a 4 cost Kenpachi, like him. He will gain these 2 abilities. The first one is pretty strong because if this character would leave the field due to an opponent's effect or battle, you may place 1 card from your hand to the outside area instead, and if you did, place the top card of this raided card to the outside area. So you just remove the raid and then the 4 cost will still be on board. And then secondly, on play he will gain 1000 battle points and double damage for the turn. And then the last support card here is the Yachiro. She is a main restless card, retire this card ability, choose up to 1 Kenpachi on your area and give it impact +1 or damage +1, which you can use to give your raid Kenpachi either double impact damage or triple attack damage. So she's a pretty neat support character. Alright, this concludes the green side. Let's move to the yellow side next. Now the yellow color received similar support like the green color, where the Bambi as a support card received her own archetype, and then the 2 main decks received some support cards. So the Yahawaha here received 2 support cards in total. The Arsnot or the Sternritter in total received 2 new cards. And the Bambi and her archetype received 8 cards. However, some cards on her archetype are also Sternritters, which you can add to either of these. Let's start with the Yawaha here first. Now his support cards are kinda alright. It's not too strong. You receive the 3 energy, double energy generation Uryu here, who has an active main ability, discard 1 card once per turn, choose 1 ability, or if you have a Yawaha, you can choose all of the abilities. You can either swap 1 character from your front line and energy line, or you can give him 1000 battle points. If you have a Yawaha on your field, you can do both. So I think this is just to generate some energy first to get your Yawaha on board, and then you can bring the Uryu onto the front line too. Next one is just another Jugram card, who can also be a support for any Sternritter. And here's an on-play if you have a Yawaha on your area, and the number of cards in your hand are less than your opponent's, you can draw 1 card. Pretty standard character. The 2 additional Sternritter that join this set are the Afghan here. He has a double energy generation, and he can buff himself by 1000 battle points, similar to the Uryu. And then this one is the most important card that they added to the game. It's the Bambi. Main, when in frontline, discard 1 card once per turn, choose 1 character on your opponent's area with battle points 1500 or more, and it gets minus 1000 battle points during this turn, which allows you to activate the Arsnot and the Yawaha ability more effectively. However, the big downside is that he has to be on the front line, so he can be KO'd pretty easily. I think out of all of these 4 cards, the Bambi is definitely the most stable cards for all of these Sternritter decks, so you should get him and add him to your deck. While the Yawaha cards can give you some support if you decide to run the big boy over here. Okay, let's quickly talk about the Bambi here. 8 cards again, and she's basically a swarm style deck with an ability to play your characters from your outside area. So you want to mill your outside area and swarm your field at the same time. Her special trigger basically just allows you to KO a character X times 1000, which is equal to the number of trade Bambis or Bambinetta cards on your area. So not on your sideline. Then she received a bunch of Bambis and zombie cards here. The 0-cost Meninas can rest an opponent's 2000 battle points character or less if she's KO'd. The Giselle mills 1 card. The little Toto here is the searcher for the Bambi cards. You got a Toshiro here who can rest one of your opponent's characters, which is pretty nice. Double energy generation Candice, who can on play give all your opponent's frontline characters minus 500 battle points during this turn. So if you play 2 of her, you can also activate those abilities. The color trigger Bambi here, who is pretty nice because she can draw a card if she's played by your character's effect, and can also get impact 1 during your turn. The second star of this deck on play You can draw 2 cards and place 2 cards from your hand onto the sideline if you have 3 or more Bambis, Zombies, or Bambinetta in your area. And then, and then when she's on the front line, once per turn you can retire one of your trade zombie characters and play 1 zombie character from the outside area to your field as active. So I think that the Bambi deck gonna be really fun to play around. Alright, let's head to the purple color next. Okay, this is the purple deck, and there are a total of 3 cards that come to support these decks because they were already pretty strong. Now this Ichigo can be seen as a support for these decks too, however it revolves around a new deck that will be in the purple format, which is the Trade Zero Division deck. So with him we will get an entirely new deck archetype too, the Trade Zero Division deck. However, I think you can run most of these Trade Zero Division character cards also in the Renji and Byakuya and Ichigo decks, since there is like no restriction to the 13 quad guard squads in the purple set. Before we talk about him, we will talk about these 3 cards. First of all, we have a 2-cost Rukia, who can be a source for a raid character. She can get 500 battle points if you place the card from your hand to the outside area in the turn. We got a 1-cost Renji here, who can help you mill some more cards into the outside area. And then a 2-cost Byakuya, who can minus one of your opponent's frontline characters by 1000 battle points. So out of all of these 3 cards, I think these 2 are really effective in all of these decks, since you can just minus someone 1000 battle points instead of like milling 2 cards from your sideline to your outside to your removal area. While this Renji helps you to just mill some more cards into the outside area to activate all of these effects. So these are mostly all support cards for the purple deck, and we will talk about the Zero Division cards next, because they form their own arc line in their own deck. So here's the new purple Zero Division Trade archetype. And again, you can add all of these cards to the other purple decks too. However, some of these cards need some Zero Division cards in your hand, so it might be better to just play around the Zero Division archetype. So firstly, this archetype needs a lot of draw power, because it revolves around placing a lot of your trade Zero Division cards from your hand into the remove area, so you can activate some of these abilities. Just for an example, the special trigger here plays up to 3 trade Zero Division cards from your hand into the sideline or remove area. Then you can choose one battle point 3000 or less character on your front line, on your opponent's front line, and sideline it. And for each card you place from your hand to the remove area, you can increase the battle point range by 1000. So if you placed 2 cards from your hand to the sideline or remove area, you can choose a 5000 battle point character. The raid Senshumaro here, with the only other raid card that is added to the deck, is kind of similar, since you also need to place cards from your hand to the sideline that have the Zero Division type, and then you can KO a frontline character. However, you can place any number of Zero Division characters from your hand to the sideline. The Uetsu here can buff himself by 2000 battle points if you place 1 Trade Zero card from your hand to the sideline, and also has double energy generation and can scout the top of your deck. The last big character in this new archetype deck is the Ichibe here. You can scout your top deck with the on-play ability, and when he's attacking you can declare 1 required energy number, and if the top card of your deck has that required energy number, you can add it to your hand. However, you still need to place 1 card from your hand into the outside area, the removal area, sorry. And he's also the color trigger of the deck. So as you can see, all of these characters want to put cards from your hand into the removal area directly, which is not really benefiting the other decks, because they want to have cards in their sideline, which is again another argument to just run them on their own. And the last cards that are here to support them can also be run in the other sets. Beside the 0-cost characters, here are the new 4-cost Ichigo and the Urahara. So the Urahara is basically just a searcher for this Ichigo, because you can look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 character card without a trade and without raid among them, and add it to your hand, which is like basically only this Kisuke or the Ichigo here. The Ichigo itself is a pretty nice character. He has impact negate. If there are 10 or more cards or 2 or more trade Zero Division cards with different names in your removal area, This character can gain double damage, and if there are 4 more different trade 0 cards in your remove area, this character also gets impact 1. So you can run him in both decks, however he is decently stronger in the 0 division deck. So this concludes the video where we talked a little bit about the new cards that were added to the already existing decks. The green and yellow color are the clear winners here. I believe that both of these new decks will be very fun to play around, while the purple decks got some support here, but like also received a new archetype deck, which is pretty nice. And lastly, I want to talk about the blue cards, or the blue decks here in the next set, or in the next video I mean. And I can already say that we have like a Rukia archetype here, an Ichigo archetype, and then a Mayuri archetype. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe and leave a comment to not miss me talking about these new decks here. And I will see you in the next video.